couple has been walking hand in hand for 29 years. What should have been an enviable love, yet the story has just begun. When Lucy eagerly mentioned the upcoming wedding anniversary, Jack seemed indifferent. She tried to hint subtly, but was met with Jack's cold response. A hint of disappointment welled up in Lucy's heart, and she asked Jack for his thoughts. Jack pretended to be confused, seemingly not understanding the meaning. Lucy suppressed her anger and proposed to go out for dinner to celebrate. Jack only casually agreed. This made it difficult for Lucy to hide her inner anger. What Lucy deep down expected was nothing but her husband's sincere concern and attention. This was ultimately a longing for emotional security. However, from the full of anticipation at the beginning, to the gradually suppressed forbearance, and then to the eventual uncontrollable anger, Jack seemed to be immersed in his own world, not even giving a responding look. Lucy was not willing to give up like this. She forced Jack to look at her, wanting to find some comfort from those familiar eyes. But at that moment, she felt the distance between them seemed to become so far away. In order to break this cold silence, she forced Jack to lose his true feelings, because she knew that only sincere communication could resolve this cold war. Unfortunately, Jack became even more angry under the pressure. Even after being slapped by Lucy, he still chose to remain silent. He silently retreated to his own room. Lucy, with nowhere to vent, angrily overturned the dining table in a fit of rage. However, when the anger subsided, this little quarrel just passed away, because her love for Jack remained the same as before. But what she didn't expect was that when she went to the church as usual the next day, Jack had already made a major decision. Jack confessed his state of mind to his son. He had already fallen in love with someone else, and was just waiting for Lucy to return to tell her all this, and then leave this once home. Lucy returned from the church, with a heart full of anticipation and apology, tightly hugging Jack and apologizing for last night's loss of control. She promised to cherish each other more in the future and not quarrel over small things anymore. But Jack's response gave her a bolt from the blue. He proposed to break up and said he was about to leave. Lucy couldn't believe it. She thought this was just a joke. After all, how could the relationship that had lasted for 30 years just end like this? Until Jack mentioned a name, a woman he had been secretly dating for a year. This news instantly pierced Lucy's heart. She didn't want to believe and didn't dare to believe. Could this relationship that she had cherished for half her life really come to an end? Facing Jack's ruthless departure, the pain in Lucy's heart was indescribable. She didn't believe that this relationship that had lasted for 29 years would end. She continuously recalled those beautiful past times and tried to use the memories to retain that lost warmth. But Jack's resoluteness made all her efforts seem so powerless. Helpless, Lucy tightly hugged her son. She whispered an apology to Jack and promised to change everything just to save this marriage. But Jack coldly turned around. He picked up his luggage, got into the car of that strange woman, and left home without hesitation. Lucy couldn't accept this cruel fact. She fell into deep despair. She began to abandon herself, even staying up all night. Her spirit began to be in a trance, as if the whole world had collapsed. She pleaded with her son to persuade Jack to come home. In fact, the son couldn't understand why his father was so heartless. He tried to persuade his father to give his mother a chance, but Jack firmly said that he could make any compensation, but would never see Lucy again, and would never return to that home. In order to win back Jack, Lucy left "I love you" notes everywhere at home, hoping he would see these notes and change his mind. She sat at the door every day, not daring to leave a step, looking forward to that familiar figure reappearing. However, what she waited for was a divorce agreement. Lucy firmly demanded to meet Jack before agreeing to sign. She couldn't accept such a cold farewell. But the lawyer told her that this agreement was already the best choice for her, because Jack left all the most valuable things in the home to her. In Lucy's view, these material compensations couldn't make up for the trauma in her heart at all. She shouted at the lawyer to shut up. Because in her heart, those lost things were far more precious than material things. After going through a heart-wrenching parting, Lucy had exhausted all her strength. At the moment when Jack casually said sorry and then turned around and left, she seemed to be emptied of everything. Early the next morning, when the son found that his mother was missing, he rushed out of the door in a panic. Finally found her at the cliffside. The son nervously persuaded his mother. He tightly hugged her, and his heart was filled with all kinds of distress. He sobbed and said, "Mom, I know that Dad's leaving is like an incurable disease for you. If you really can't bear this pain and want to seek relief, I won't stop you because you are all of me. But I ask you to give me a chance to say goodbye. Don't let me face the fact of losing you without any preparation." The son's words were like a warm current penetrating Lucy's cold heart. She tightly hugged her son and felt an unprecedented strength. She decided not to wallow in the pain of the past anymore, but to bravely face the future. So she adopted a dog named Jack as a farewell to the past. At the same time, she joined an activity called Moonstar. This was a group of abandoned people who called each other to pour out their hearts and seek comfort. finding hope from each other's despair. Lucy also picked up her love for poetry again and started writing poetry collections. She unhesitatingly described the shattering of marriage and the feelings of despair in life. Because this was her real experience, she hoped these words could bring a little comfort to those who were also in trouble. With the release of her mindset, Lucy went to see Jack and also saw the woman who had once taken her husband away. However, what the woman said shocked her, but Lucy just smiled faintly and turned around and left. Jack hurriedly chased after, eager to maintain a friendship with Lucy. He hoped Lucy wouldn't see him as a despicable person, trying to slightly ease his inner guilt. But today is different from the past. Lucy chose a different path. She learned to let go. But this by no means means that she will easily forgive all the past. I think many people, when facing the great changes in marriage and love, will be like Lucy, deeply trapped in the vortex of pain and unable to extricate themselves. They initially refused to accept the cruel reality, then fell into the vortex of guilt and self-blame, constantly blaming their own shortcomings, and even not hesitating to lower their own value and begging the other party to change their mind humbly. But the truth is cruel. Those former lovers may have long since left you, this weak one behind, and resolutely pursued new happiness, thus withdrawing completely from the emotional upheaval. They don't have to bear any pain. The reason why Lucy was able to persevere in this spiritual ordeal was because she finally transformed into a true, strong person. Just like that wedding anniversary at the beginning, Jack's evasive answers. That kind of beating around the bush and insincerity actually already had the answer, but Lucy understood it later. Keeping a respectful distance means not liking. Remaining silent means refusing. In the path of love, be brave when rushing forward, and be more decisive when giving up. There are many things in this world that can heal you, and only you can let yourself go. Free up your hands to be brave enough to seize new opportunities.